Welcome into Bears Weekly, powered by IGS Energy, a Chicago Bears network production. Bears Weekly is brought to you by Advocate Healthcare, Athletico Physical Therapy, CDW, Connie's Pizza, IGS Energy, and Miller Lite. Here are your hosts, Jeff Joniak, a.k.a. the Mayor of Bearsville, and his sidekick, Tom the Surfmaster Thayer.
It's the night before the next big practice for the Bears when they welcome Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to Hallis Hall for joint practice. It'll be a fun watch indeed. This is Bears Weekly on ESPN 1000 and the Chicago Bears Radio Network with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Coming up on the program, we visit with Bears second-year defensive end Austin Booker on his development. Insights from Bears passing game coordinator and secondary coach Al Harris, and we'll drill down on just how important 11-year veteran Grady Jarrett is to the Bears defense from defensive line coach Jeremy Garrett. Also hear from Richard Hightower. Jam-packed show today, Tom. Practice number 17 in the books today, and left tackle continues to be a conversation, Tommy.
Yeah, but, every single day that ticks away, it makes the players more serious about what they're trying to accomplish because that's one less day that they can impress. So if a coach leaves practice today and he has a renewed impression or he has some question marks about a player, you got to make sure that however many practices are left, and especially the practices against the Buffalo Bills, you approach them as if it's a regular season game. And now, like you said, this is a team that's coming in with the MVP. They got hard knocks. They got Sean McDermott, who's one of the most serious coaches in the NFL and what they're trying to accomplish in Buffalo. And they have a new stadium on the cusp of being built. There's so many things that they're trying to do, but we're talking about the Bears. So there's so many things that the player should be trying to do to leave that indelible impression on whoever their position coach is.
Let's talk left tackle. Theo Benedict played with the ones today, solely at the one. Braxton Jones, the ones and twos. Second team right tackle only today for Ozzie Trapillo. Karan Amagaji with the threes at left tackle for a second straight day. How do you handicap this? How do you capsulize what's going on at left tackle right now?
Well, listen, let's realize this is a no padded practice. This is about the academic side of football. This is the mental side of it. Do you know what you're hearing in the huddle and you know what it means to you at the line of scrimmage? And then as soon as that cadence starts, there is no other communication. It's up to you, whatever position you're playing. So if Benedict is really impressing the coaches enough that he's putting the athleticism on display, that they believe that he can be competitive for the left tackle position, I just think that's a feather in the Bears' cap because you're looking for as many good players at every position and then let it work itself out before the regular season game. And then Ozzie Trapillo, he's proved that he can play right tackle. He's got the desire, he's got the willingness, he's got the attitude, everything that you want out of a determined football player. But maybe they're figuring out, is he the swing tackle that needs to be able to play everywhere, or is he a bona fide candidate at right tackle?
First team offense near the end of practice. I think there was a 45-second clock. Try to get in position to kick a field goal to end the game. The scenario was they were trailing 21-20. Caleb Williams did a nice job today. He really did. Got the team down there to the 20-yard line with a couple of big throws. Roma Dunze on the other end of it on third down. That's a key thing. That's your money down in a big clutch moment like that. So a big couple catches there, and then a field goal by Santos for the win. So, again, all these little things add up. Pads or no pads, prove you could do it, show you can do it, put it on tape.
Well, to me, I always look what happens at the line of scrimmage first, and then I'll appreciate what happens downfield. The thing that I liked about the line of scrimmage, there wasn't any mental errors. There wasn't any free rushers. There wasn't anybody coming at Caleb Williams immediately that he either had to eject the pocket or just throw it out of bounds. He always had time to be able to let the play open up downfield, get the ball accurately and in motion to the receivers, and did exactly what the drill was asked to do.
Yeah, and the second team, Tyson Bagent picked up by Josh Blackwell. He's getting a lot of good reps. We're going to talk about Blackwell later on in the show. I always love this player. I love his grit. He's 179 pounds. He's always been on the smaller side, but boy, gets a scholarship to Duke. turns it into a undrafted free agent deal with the Eagles, and the Bears scouting department found him and brought him to Chicago. Outstanding, valuable special teams player, valuable backup for the Bears defensively, Tommy. And this morning on ESPN 1000 with Cap and Hood, a great discussion with Ben Johnson, talking again about finding the identity, finding their footing, how do they respond when something goes bad, things that they're looking at about this football team, getting guys to get used to the noise of what a season brings from the outside in, but that the truth is in the building. A lot of good things, a lot of good comments about how Ben Johnson is trying to prepare his team for this season.
Ben is incredible because, like I said, we were talking earlier today, he does not sell false hope. He is not making these egregious claims that may not come true. He wouldn't even commit to the Sunday game against the Buffalo Bills because he first wanted to see how the Friday practice went. And that is the truth of the matter, because I talked about when you have a guy that's established in his town and Sean McDermott, he's a no-nonsense guy. So he's going to bring a no-nonsense team up here, and they're going to have a no-nonsense practice because that's the way Ben Johnson has been leading his troops. And so I thought it was a great interview on Cap and J Hood, and every time he goes to the podium, I'm never disappointed.
Never disappointed. Coming up, Austin Booker will join us. That's next on ESPN 1000 and the Bears Radio Network.
You're tuned into Bears Weekly with Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network. This is Bears Weekly with the voice of the Bears for 24 years, Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by IGS Energy. Welcome back to ESPN 1000 on the Bears Radio Network and Bears Weekly with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Our special guest this week is Bears defensive end, second-year player out of Kansas and the University of Minnesota, Austin Booker. You can smile.
What's up?
Go right ahead, man. You can smile after that performance. Holy smokes. I had a ball calling those sacks, buddy.
It felt great. I definitely felt like I was in the zone and I was doing my thing, and everything seemed like it was going well, and moves hit. I got to the quarterback, so it was great.
At any point in your football playing life, did you ever have a 3-sack game? High school, college, and now certainly
I don't think so.
This is a first.
Yeah.
So Dennis Allen, when I was talking to him before the season started, and it's just like every defensive coordinator I ever talked to, if they don't play the run, they're not going to play. So play 11, you engage with the tight end, disengage, you make the play in the backfield. And then play 15, you're on the goal line. You swim the guard, and the assist on the tackle. So to me, as much as everybody's talking about sacks, I think your performance against the run was equally as impressive. Is it something that's been stressed to you, or is it something that you've been able to improve on since you've been in at this level?
I think it's a little bit of both, especially this year with the new coaches. I think their technique and what they're teaching us is a lot better. The swim was kind of just a roll the dice and go make a play. But when I'm using my technique and the stuff that they're teaching this year, things have definitely been going way better.
So last year, first day of pads, your first pass rush against the right tackle was an inside spin. And there's been a couple guys in the NFL that they're as good at the inside spin. It's the most destructive move against offensive linemen. Bruce Smith for one of them. And so then the first pass rush you have this year, it's against the left tackle and you spin again. So I'm going, wow, is this something that he's working on or something like? Then you get a sack yesterday on that same inside spin against the left tackle. Is it a move that's always in your repertoire, or is there a time and a place that it's the right person to use it against?
So I mean, I feel like it's just a good change up, especially when they're scared of my speed, they're scared of my edge and my long arm. So you get them going upfield, and it's just an easy way to go right to left and back inside. So
as a former offensive lineman, I just asked this Tommy the other day because the spin move, it can beat people pretty badly. And he goes, man, just walk with him if you're an offensive lineman. So you don't want them doing that. But Tommy, that's a good counterpoint for you guys to have, an offensive lineman, because Aiden Hutchins is going to do it to our guys, and that wide 90 gets ahead of steam going, and bam, right, Tommy?
Yeah, but like I said, it's not for everybody in the NFL. And so Bruce Smith was fantastic at it. You get Robert Mathis, who was great at it. You get the other tight end that played over there as well. The guy just went into the Hall of Fame. He was great at it. So it's not for everybody, but I've seen you use it enough now that once an offensive lineman starts seeing you do that on film, they get really leery of it, and it kind of changes their pass set and how aggressive they are, because if you do get over aggressive, you're going to spin. The next thing you know, you're going to be on the back of the quarterback. So congratulations to you. It's super effective.
100%. Appreciate it.
I also talked to a scout recently, and we're with Austin Booker, Bears defensive end, here on Bears Weekly on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network. If a defensive lineman, and you have length, clearly, and the speed and the quickness, the footwork, but if a defensive lineman is equipped to use the long arm, they got a chance in the National Football League. You have a long arm and a lot more to your repertoire. How impactful is the long arm? And for those people who know the game of football but don't know all the little ins and outs and maybe what a long arm is, you try to stick it right down the middle of an offensive lineman's chest to create a little space, and bam, you use that speed. Is that in the simplified version of it?
Yeah, I would say that for sure. But at the same time, having the element of surprise with the long arm is great. So shaking them up before you put it in, or going speed again before you throw it in there, kind of gets them off balance, gets them perpendicular with the line of scrimmage, and that's when you know you got them. So,
how many things did you try to put in your toolbox every offseason of your football life, and certainly in the offseason? Because the more you have, it's like the old phrase in the NFL for working on special teams: the more you can do, the more you have in your toolbox to rush, the less the offensive lineman is going to know where you're going.
100%. I feel like I've been a student of the game for a while now, and I feel like most of the rush moves were in my repertoire during high school. I feel like just spin moves, long arms, swim move, the whole thing, and just being able to tidy those up in the next level, and learning from better players, better coaches has just made them that much better.
Austin, 2-point stance, 3-point stance, or a 4-point stance? What's your preference? Do you have a preference, or are they all the same to you?
2-point stance, 100%, because I can see everything. I'm quicker to the block point, all the above. But if I'm in like a 6-eye or a 4-eye where I'm covered up, I like to be in a 4-point for sure.
You know, they tried to run a play action to you. They ran the play action away and brought the tight end across the formation to block you. You were able to disengage and get a quarterback hit with hustle. So when you're in a 2-point stance, can you recognize play action quicker than out of a stance, or are you working on your game out of a 2-point, not necessarily what they're doing?
I think it's both. I like working my game off the 2-point just so I can get my hands on, shed faster. I can read the offense, but also screens. Screens is a big thing, and being able to recognize those patterns and having my head up already, looking at the backfield, seeing where the running back's at, seeing if the running back's chowed or if he's split out to get out. Just little stuff like that I can see that I can't see in a 3-point.
What, did I see you on kickoff return?
You did, yeah.
Congratulations. Listen, I was on kickoff return my entire career from the first game to the last game. And I don't know if it's just an experiment or if they have plans on you. Now that you get 3 sacks in a game, they may save your reps for pass rushing. But, hey, man, way to go. Way to get out there and do your job.
Yep. You gotta put on for the team however you can.
Yeah. What specifically would you say? Because Dennis is new. Jeremy Garrett, new eyes on some guys that have been here, and they see things differently than other coaches. What do you think they've seen in you differently? The way you're being deployed.
Differently. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, the defense is a little bit different. Like, it's more of a 5 down than a 4 down most of the time. So, being able to use me as a 9 technique, but also a 4-eye. I don't know. They might see other players better at the 4-eye and me at the 9 technique. So just little things like that. I feel like that's the only differences this year.
And I know 4-eye's been thrown a lot because Montez Sweat was asked to do it, and he wasn't sure, man, if that was right up his alley, but he does it great.
100%.
Right, that's just inside the shoulder of the tackle, correct? So you could be going at a guard or a center and those type of things. Yeah. For those who don't know that. In terms of what that one performance and then the entirety of what you put together in camp so far and what is the midway point of camp, are you pleased? Are you excited? Do you feel that they know who you are right now, what you can do?
Not necessarily. I'm never satisfied. I didn't
ask you if you're satisfied.
I'm always wanting more. So I'm just gonna keep working until it's bigger than I can imagine. So
yeah, exactly. What's Jeremy like as a coach?
he's hard. He's caring, but at the end of the day, he cares the most, and he's always gonna tell you the truth. And that's exactly what we needed in our defensive line room.
I'm getting the idea that every position we've hit, he's hard, coach hard.
That's the way it got to be.
Is it the whole bunch of them?
Yeah, that's the way it got to be. Because on game day, we can just cut it loose, and we're gonna coach everything on the sideline. So.
Austin, you get practice reps against the guy that you're playing against when you talk about the combined practices against Miami and now this one Buffalo coming up against Buffalo. Did it help you in the game for the reps that you got or any of the tape you got to see in leading up to the game, or did you not even take that into consideration when you had your reps?
Yeah, no, I didn't really take it into consideration too much. I mean, I played against 3 different tackles that game, and after my second sack, they benched one of them. So, I mean, they were just kind of throwing them in there. So I just did me, you know.
You had a really nice rush against that young rookie guard, and so it was interesting because I was a big fan of him coming out of college, and so I thought you did a great move against him, and you got by him quickly. When you think about when you play against 2 or 3 different tight ends, you play against a slew of offensive tackles, you play against the offensive guards. It's probably harder for them to get a feel for you because you're moving up and down the line of scrimmage and they don't know what to think during the cadence before the play, what type of stance you're in or what you're going to do to them. So it's got to be helpful and beneficial to you as well.
100%. I'm not the type to super plan my rushes and all that type of stuff where it's kind of unpredictable. So, yeah, 100%.
All right, our remaining moments with Bears defensive end Austin Booker here on Bears Weekly on ESPN 1000 on the Bears Radio Network, and thank you for all your time. Appreciate it. Did you add weight this year? How did you do in the weight room? Obviously, as a young player, that's significant.
Yeah, I added about 8 pounds and then went to my place in the off season, came back 3 pounds of muscle heavier and down 3 pounds of fat. So it was just a constant improvement the whole offseason.
Yeah. Did they target a certain weight for you with the new staff, and did you hit the target? And what are you at right now?
Yeah, I mean, they just wanted like 250 plus, and that's what they want me to stay at, and that's what I'm doing now. So, it's been going great. Nutrition took an extra step. Performance staff, strength staff, they all took extra steps for me. So.
And do you feel still quick, fast, and do you feel that strength?
100%. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, you're off and running, and hopefully it's going to be a bang year for you.
Yeah.
Nicely
agree.
done.
I'm looking forward to it.
You look intense right now, too.
Yeah.
And it's a day off, kind of.
Yeah. We just got out of lift, so we don't.
Never a day off.
Yeah. Pros don't have days off.
Nope.
All right. Well, you enjoy your time here. This preseason's going to go quickly here with a couple of quick games, and then we're at it. So thank you so
Appreciate
much.
You guys.
That'll do
Thanks,
it for
Austin.
our segment here with Austin Booker. Tom and I return after this break on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're tuned into Bears Weekly with Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network. Welcome back to Bears Weekly on the Bears Radio Network. Here's your host, the voice of the Bears, Jeff Joniak.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy. Visit athletico.com to request an in-clinic or virtual appointment and start feeling better tomorrow. Jeff and Tom with you on Bears Weekly. You heard Austin Booker in our last segment. 6 tackles, 3 sacks, and 4 quarterback hits. And just a word on Booker. Again, a guy that's going to only get better, Tom. He's just scratching the surface. Adding that muscle, got into the 250s. We talked about that. That makes a difference. I like the way he thinks about the game and how he chooses to attack. And this defense is going to be about attack. From the line of scrimmage, you're going to be knocking back those offensive linemen. You're going to get one-on-one matchups. That's kind of the plan for this defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, and just wreak havoc on opposing quarterbacks and opposing offensive linemen. So I see a lot of great things that this guy can put on tape from his athleticism, turn it into power, and start making more noise here when he gets the opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect intersection of coaching and confidence, because they're building the confidence in Austin Booker, and he's putting it on display in his pass rushes and his arsenal of pass rushes. He played out of a 2-point stance, a 3-point stance, and a 4-point stance. But to me, that I liked the most out of Austin Booker in the Miami game was his ability to stop the run. Not only immediately disengaging from blocks at the line of scrimmage, being able to take on trapping tight ends, and then being able to work with immediacy on short yardage and goal line. Those are a couple of things that really maybe not get highlighted when you talk about sacks. But, Jeff, if you don't play the run,
You don't get to rush the passer.
thank you.
Nashawn Wright really has been an impressive name throughout the course of camp. Tommy, 6'4", 199, fourth-year Oregon State. Adam in Dallas, Al Harris, Bears secondary coach and passing game coordinator. Some really interesting conversations with the offense and defensive assistants this week at Halasaw. You always learn a lot from the assistants. They're at ground zero. They're the position group meetings. They meet more than anybody with these players. There are team meetings with Ben Johnson, but it's these lieutenants that really carry the message and do the teaching and really develop these guys. And this is somebody that he's developing, and it's a different attitude for him here in Chicago for Wright. That and many other topics here in this conversation with Al Harris, the Bears assistant coach.
I've coached Shawnee since he's been in the league, so just, a hands-on approach from, a rookie until now, so that just watching his game from when he first got into the league until now is night and day.
In what ways?
Just everything. His technique, he had to change his technique, he had to change his mindset, to go with more of a ball mindset and to kind of get the concept of, like, we don't cover the receivers, we're more covering the concepts. I think the things that he may have lacked a little bit in Dallas as far as bringing the drills and the mindset to the field, I think he can see it now. He's matured, it's slowing down for him now.
How would you describe the mindset he needs to have?
Ball. Everybody in the secondary, whether you're a safety, corner, or a nickel, we have to have a ball mindset. And that's where you create the splash plays. So if you're never talking about the ball and never putting the ball on the guy's mind, you're going to get a ton of guys who are just knocking the ball down.
Yeah.
So we want the ball, so you got to talk about it, you got to live it, that's what it's about.
You ever have moments when you're coaching these guys throughout your whole career when you're sitting there and because you're extremely attentive every day at practice, where you stand, where you are, how you are, that you see anybody that reminds you of yourself when you are doing the same thing?
No, man, all these guys are much better than I was, man. But I would say one guy that the way he approached practice, I would say would be Diggs. You know what I mean? Kind of because, in the beginning of his career, he practiced like it was a game, and that's what it takes.
Anybody doing that now?
All of them. Everybody is. I would say, taking more of a game type rep, if that makes sense. Whether it's 7-on-7, one-on-ones, but if you treat it like a game, those are precious reps. So if you treat it like a game, you'll get the right results.
When you're a bigger, taller, longer cornerback, what are some of the tricks, the nuances that get you to a place where you use those physical abilities or physical gifts to use them on the field?
Well, God gave these guys length, speed, you know what I mean? And it's my job to get their eyes in the right place. So my philosophy always is the ball. So that's why we don't care who's running the routes.
Tom, at the end of that, the reason he explained is that the receiver running the system is lining up a certain way, he's stemming a certain way, and basically, for the lack of a better word, the receiver is giving breadcrumbs or the tactical clues where his defenders, his secondary, can beat them to the ball. It doesn't matter who's lined up. You're actually playing the concept.
Well, I first of all, I like Al Harris talking about going after the football.
Yep.
They don't want to just knock it down. They want to take possession of the football. So I think that's a key ingredient for any defensive back. Jeff, when you watch practice tape, they take it from a sideline view. They take it from behind the offense. They take it from behind the defense, and then they take a wide shot, correct?
Yep.
The reason they do that is because if you're a defensive back or if I'm an offensive guard, I can get tons of clues out of the way that defensive lineman is in his stance, how that receiver is at the ball, how his feet are positioned, where is his get off balanced for before the snap of the ball. So these things that Al Harris can teach these young defensive backs, and maybe things they've never thought of before in their life. The reason there's multiple angles because you can get multiple clues out of every single time you see a receiver, an offense or a defensive lineman lined up, and it's super beneficial. And Al Harris would not compare his skills to any of the guys he's coaching because he said, oh my God, these guys are so good, so big, so tall, so fast that he doesn't put his name. I think that is kind of a gracious way of, just not taking that away from the players because Al Harris is one heck of a football player. But I think what you can take from his skills, his knowledge, and his understanding can benefit these players and expedite their study habits and their learning curve.
I really appreciate how he approaches it, too. He's always on the line of scrimmage on the sidelines watching. He's always got a chart in his hand, notes, and then on the back end, so he can have the same vision that his DBs are looking at, what they're looking at on the back end. He's ever present. You always see Al Harris. You don't necessarily hear Al Harris. He is very, as I keep saying this, stoic but stern. And I think these guys are going to be all ears listening to Al Harris. That secondary is still loaded with talent, and he's developing some newcomers to the mix that are already making a case to make a roster here. And using veterans as well that they brought in, and he's getting the most out of these guys. You think of McLeod is another one, the cornerback. So, and Wright is a great story right now.
And I think, it's just not by accident where Al Harris pre-snap positions himself. He's looking at something very specific. And when you take these guys and you take them from the practice field to the meeting room and all of a sudden the different angles I talk about on tape, you can point out something very specifically. Look, if this is 3rd and long and his balance is all on his right foot, that means his first step is going to be with his left foot. And if you're in a position to control the receiver off the line of scrimmage, you can be in post snap control. So I just think that every one of these guys, whether they are an experienced vet, they're going to benefit from his experiences.
Listen, in my opinion, and I'd like to hear what you think about this, with the secondary, we can again construct the 5 guys that are, when healthy, will be on the field and will be getting the most reps. But there are valuable backups that have a lot of playing time, like Blackwell, Elijah Hicks at the safety position. Jonathan Owens has been in the league for a while now, and whoever else makes this football team on the back end. I would say this, when healthy. We know Jalen Johnson is one of the premier corners in the NFL. When he gets on the field, I'm thinking his arrow is still up. I'm thinking when Kyler Gordon is on the field, he just was, paid as the highest paid nickel. Arrow up. I would say Tyreek Stevenson, still untapped potential, arrow up. I would say that about Jaquan Brisker because of how he's going to be used here. Arrow up.
The defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, the position that he was bred in the NFL is defensive backfield. So it's Al
and
Harris,
he was a safety himself. He was a safety
right,
in college.
That's what I'm saying. That's where he's bred from. And so, he understands the defensive backfield. He understands Al Harris. He understands what his defense needs to accomplish every single player on the field, every down and distance. So when you talk about all those guys, they all have growth potential that's unlimited, and you have to take whatever their asset offers you as a defensive back coach and use it to the best of your ability. So I think the creative play of Kyler Gordon, the willingness to be physical by Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson is one of the best hitting corners that I've seen in quite a long time. And Jalen Johnson has the athleticism to match up with anybody's number 1.
And by the way, I brought this up earlier today with Tommy. Al Harris, drafted actually by Jerry Angelo, the former Bears general manager in Tampa, and he was coached at Texas A&M Kingsville by Chris Ballard, who was a coach before becoming a scout and the GM of the Indianapolis Colts. A quick tie-in there. As Al Harris told me, he remembers the day Jerry Angelo showed up at practice. He thought, wow, okay, this is serious now. And I said, did you ball out that day? He goes, I sure did. I had a great practice. That's Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Javon Dexter next on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're listening to Bears Weekly on the Bears Radio Network. Welcome back to Bears Weekly on the Bears Radio Network. Here's your host, the voice of the Bears, Jeff Joniak.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by IGS Energy. Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer, as we take a dip into the defensive line of the Bears as they get ready to meet the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Boy, Tom, I can't wait to watch that practice.
He's hit some stumbling blocks, and there's people that had an attitude or approach that maybe this guy is just a guy out of Wyoming that is a big athlete. No, he's a big quarterback, and he's a good quarterback, and he's a good athlete. He's a great teammate, and he's the type of guy that can take an environment like Buffalo, embrace it, turn it into his own, and turn that locker room into one of the guys that is a featured player on that team.
You know, this is a team that ran the ball as well as anybody in the NFL last year, due in part to what Josh Allen contributes, Tom, but also Cook and the other guys with that play caller up there, Joe Brady, just like Detroit did with their coordinator and play caller last year, Ben Johnson. But the Bears defense is going to have to be a much better run defensive team in 2025 than they were in 2024. Different system, different faces, but a lot of the same faces too, including inside Javon Dexter. That's where it all begins, the rush defense, as we hear right here.
100%. I think that's a bigger motivator for me, myself, because I played in the interior defensive line, and that's where it starts at. So if you can't stop the run, I look at it as that's my job. That's our job, but exactly mine. So we got to be better. I feel like we're going to be a lot better for sure.
We've heard so much about how Brady is a leader in your room on that defense, but now that you've had an opportunity to play next to him a bunch, what have you learned about Brady on the field?
Yeah, same thing. He's a leader on the field. He communicates very well. Sometimes Grady knows what's about to happen based off formation and stuff like that before it happens. So just having a guy like that beside him, like there's been times where he'll tell me, hey, G, this is about to happen, and now I can play even faster and make plays off of it. So
I imagine he's right a lot of the time.
Most of the time he's right, yeah.
I felt we haven't talked a lot about Javon Dexter so far in training camp. We talk about Grady Jarrett a ton. Certainly you heard some of the impact that Grady's making on Javon. We're talking a lot about Montez Sweat. How vital and important will it be to start to talk about Javon Dexter as that next great Bears defensive player?
Well, you know, last week in the Miami practice, Tua doesn't run the ball beyond the line of scrimmage because he's encouraged against that. So when you talk about defensive line play, they're there to stop the run and rush the passers exclusively. Now when you talk about getting ready for this game, Josh Allen can take off at the drop of a hat. And if he finds a seam that he believes he can get to that second and third level, now you're talking about facing a 6'5.5", 6'6", 250-pound athlete. But Javon Dexter, you know, maybe his presence will be felt, and we'll talk about his impact a little bit more after the Buffalo practice and after the Buffalo game. I'm not disappointed in anything I've seen out of Javon Dexter this training camp, and I think that he's really benefiting from Grady Jarrett, because Grady Jarrett is so quick, so elusive, so disengaging that sometimes Javon Dexter is blessed with a one-on-one. And at 6'6", 326 pounds, if he uses his length and his leverage properly, he can step from the right foot of a guard and come all the way around his left side without the guard being able to recover in the center, or the other guard's not there because they're fighting with Grady Jarrett. So it's going to be interesting how all these tools work together up front. And then, you know, not to mention Montez Sweat and Dio and the rest of the guys up there. So I think this is a year that Javon Dexter has to benefit himself. The system has to benefit Javon Dexter. And then, you know, it's all going to come together.
Here's defensive line coach Jeremy Garrett speaking of Grady Jarrett and the impact he's making.
Because of how he works. Like people are naturally attracted to his leadership, because he's not a guy that's walking around just talking. He's actually doing it, and you find it on tape. I mean, the guy in our individual drills, he wants to be like the perfect example of how I want it done, right? And doesn't mind, hey, Grady, do it again. He'll do it again, you know. So I think that's a great quality for him. He just want to be great, and it doesn't matter. And to him, like he's going to be the same guy, and then people are going to follow that.
How do you describe that switch he has to be able to flip from gregarious, friendly, very engaging guy to beast?
Yeah, I think Grady, like off the field, man, professional. On the field, switch, different guy.
What are you learning about Tez?
Montez? I think Montez is a really a good natural football player. And I think, for us, I think he's worked his tail off to improve as an individual, in the run and in the pass. Like, this guy is paying attention in detail in the meetings, taking notes, like walk through, very detailed, running to the ball, trying to do it exactly how we want him to do it. So I think that's been really good, man, to see him just locked in like that and want to be in the scheme and want to be a guy in the scheme.
And I do love what he had to say there at the end, Tom, about Montez Sweat. I want to talk more about Montez in our next segment, but if Montez continues on the track he is right now, Javon takes a step, Grady does what he does, and he's done for the past decade in the National Football League. Dio builds on what he started in his career. Austin Booker, any number of guys that come in that wave of defensive players. I mean, this is going to be an entirely different-looking defense here in 2025. We're going to have you play a little game, Tommy. Survive or Thrive. We'll explain next on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're tuned into Bears Weekly with Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network. This is Bears Weekly with the voice of the Bears for 24 years, Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network.
This segment of Bears Weekly brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy. Visit athletico.com to request an in-clinic or virtual appointment and start feeling better tomorrow. Jeff and Tom in our final segment. Think back to Ben Johnson, Tom, saying before, I think it was the 8th practice of camp, we are evaluating who is here to survive or thrive and become king of the mountain. So one of them for me is Olamide Zaccheaus. So a consistent player throughout the course of his career, but he's been now, this is, his third team. It seems like this is a guy that you're going to be able to count on to give you all sorts of things. He's a blocker as a wide receiver. He's going to get you your 500-600 yards. He's going to catch you some touchdowns. Playing a really important position out of the slot right now. That's key in this offense of Ben Johnson. Maybe some special teams. He's back there returning as well. I really like what Olamide Zaccheaus, he is taking this thing by the throat.
Well, Antoine Randall said that on his last interview with us. That role of that specific receiver position, it creates more opportunities for the other receivers on the offense. So, yeah, I am not disappointed at all what I've seen out of Zaccheaus. And I was kind of interested, how is this guy going to react from the other free agent receivers that they've signed and then some of the guys that are already here in place? But he's thrived in his opportunity.
Yeah.
And he's been playing with 4 different quarterbacks throughout training camp. So once he gets the consistency of that game plan going into Minnesota, he's going to understand what his responsibilities are and how he can help the big picture of the offense.
I'm going to throw Nahshon right in there as well because he certainly has taken advantage of the absence of the injured Jalen Johnson. He's worked himself into a valuable role of some sort with this football team. I'm going to throw Montez Sweat in there. It seems like a totally different player right now in many different ways. Tremaine Edmonds having a great camp. I think he's going to be a candidate for you for your camp ball, I would think, if it continues to go that way. And then I'll give you the opportunity to say some more before I give you one more. But if you have anybody else that pops into your head on either side of the ball that you say is thriving.
Well, Noah Sewell has, and that kind of began back in OTAs, and I want to say, okay, is this gonna morph into no pad football into padded football? And it has. He's taken a major step forward this year, and I think when they so quickly got rid of Jack Sanborn, someone was going to have to step in that role, and he and Hippolyte are both competing for that third linebacker on this football team. But Noah Sewell showed some really quality instincts the other day in the Miami game, and I like to see it in the Buffalo practice in the Buffalo game. I don't know how he fits into the role as a defender on this defense, but Andrew Billings, his comeback after an injury, he brings that kind of Grady Jarrett energy. He's a different body style. He's a big, wide man. He's been making tackles a player or two away. He's just not a two-gapping defensive tackle like when he was brought here. So he's shown me some life, maneuverability, and athleticism that's encouraging when you look at a big guy like that. We got to talk just to Austin Booker, talk about him again, because his ability to play the run, his desire to run to the sideline and make a play on a running play, and then his ability to rush the passer. It's going to be interesting to see him, because a couple of these offensive linemen coming in for Buffalo are pretty solid. So I think it'll be an upgrade in competition, but it's going to be an upgrade in evaluation.
I'm going to throw Josh Blackwell in there as well. Josh Blackwell getting high praise today from Richard Hightower. Loves him on his special teams unit. Here's more.
Yeah, I mean, it's astronomical. I mean, his value is huge to me and to the rest of the team. I mean, he made plays on Sunday. He's made plays throughout his career. He's played at a Pro Bowl level. I mean, he got what he deserved, what the front office did for him, and he earned it. And now he's got to prove that he's worked it every single day, is what I told him. Like, no, it's time to really work now, So, I mean, he's a problem for people. And every coordinator we play has a discussion about 39 and how good he is and where you got him from and how did your scouting department find him? How did we miss him? So we just got to keep him going. We're looking for more from him this year.
What you appreciated most about him and just seeing his journey under your watch?
Yeah, I mean, just the kid. Like, it's not. I mean, you say under my watch, and I appreciate that. But like, I'm blessed to coach him. And he is a very cerebral player that sits in the front row, and he always trying to get better. He's always asking for tape of people with his stature, with his size, that moves that he can use to go out there and get better at. So I just appreciate the genuine love and passion that he has for the process. Like, I want players that love the process. And if you got guys like that and they got a little bit of talent, then it's our job to get them going.
I mean, you can't get any higher praise than right there. That's going to do it for us. We're out of time. Thanks for listening, everybody. The executive producer of the Bears Radio Network is Eric Ostrowski. Thanks to Kendra Smith in the ESPN studios, and our Bears producers, Dan Briley, Jordan Tredup, and Katie Fox. For Tom Thayer, Austin Booker, I'm Jeff Joniak. This has been Bears Weekly on the new radio home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago. Have a great night, everybody. Black and Abdallah are next.
Thank you for listening to the Chicago Bears Network presentation of Bears Weekly, hosted by the mayor of Bearsville, Jeff Joniak, and Surfmaster Tom Thayer. Podcasts are available on the Chicago Bears official app, brought to you by Verizon and Apple Podcasts. Bears Weekly has been brought to you by Miller Lite.